Ghetto Supastar Economics: How a 1998 interpolation reveals music catalogs as high-yield productive assets. Flint West reporting. Section 1. Most people hear a song. I hear a balance sheet. This whole rabbit hole started with a simple observation. Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton's 1983 hit, Islands in the Stream, came on the radio. A few bars in, something felt familiar. Not because of Kenny, not because of Dolly, because the melody triggered a memory of Mia's vocal from Ghetto Supastar, That Is What You Are. Same feeling, same shape, same underlying pattern. That question led somewhere unexpected. The answer was not music. The answer was capital. Section 2. See, Ghetto Supastar was not simply inspired by Islands in the Stream. The song contains a legally cleared interpolation of the underlying composition. The Bee Gees, who wrote the original melody, received songwriting credit. Think about what that means. A melody created in 1983 was still generating economic output 15 years later in an entirely different genre. Different artists, different audience, different decade, same template. And that's when the real lesson revealed itself. A strong song is not merely a piece of entertainment. A strong song is a reusable intellectual property template, and valuable templates produce cash flow. Welcome to the economics of music catalogs. Section 3. Most people think artists make money when they release a song. That's true, but the bigger money often comes later, sometimes much later. A mature catalog can generate revenue from streaming, radio play, performance royalties, film licensing, television licensing, advertising placements, video games, cover versions, samples, interpolations, remixes, and new forms of media that did not even exist when the song was originally written. The work gets done once. The asset keeps working. That is the definition of productive capital. In 2025, music catalog transactions totaled nearly $13 billion across 566 deals analyzed by Citrin Cooperman. Let that sink in. $13 billion. Investors were not buying nostalgia. They were buying future cash flows. Publishing catalogs traded around 15 times annual revenue. Masters and combined master publishing catalogs traded above 17 times annual revenue. Evergreen catalogs more than 10 years old often commanded multiples between 17 and 17.6 times. Those are not entertainment numbers. Those are asset class numbers. The market is telling you exactly what these things are. They are productive financial instruments, and ownership determines who collects the yield. That is where most artists learn the hard lesson. This content is brought to you by Bobby Gigs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 4. There are 2 layers to every catalog. Layer 1 is the song, the melody, the composition, the emotional resonance, the template itself. Layer 2 is the contract, the masters, the publishing, the revenue splits, the licensing rights, the reversion clauses, the delivery obligations. Layer 1 creates value. Layer 2 decides who gets paid. Prince understood this better than almost anyone. For years, he fought Warner Brothers over ownership of his masters, not because he hated music, because he understood the difference between creating a tree and owning a tree. Those are not the same thing. A man who plants an orchard and a man who owns an orchard are playing 2 very different games. Modern artists are increasingly learning the same lesson. Section 5. Thames provides one of the clearest examples. Her reported RCA and Sony structure includes a 50-50 masters profit split and full reversion of ownership after 12 years. Think about how different that is from the traditional model. The label helps grow the tree, the fruit gets shared, but eventually the orchard comes home. That is not surrendering productive capital. That is leasing productive capital. The distinction matters a lot. The institutional money understands this. Justin Bieber reportedly sold rights associated with roughly 290 songs for more than $200 million. Bruce Springsteen's catalog reportedly changed hands for roughly $500 to $550 million. Bob Dylan's songwriting catalog reportedly exceeded $300 million. Blackstone acquired Hipgnosis Songs Fund for roughly $1.6 billion and later completed a $1.47 billion music royalty securitization. Again, nobody is buying memories. They are buying yield. Now the story gets even more interesting. because the next phase may belong to artificial intelligence. Section 6. For years, the assumption was that AI would destroy the value of music. The opposite may happen. Major labels have increasingly moved from litigation toward licensing arrangements with AI platforms. Why? Because premium human-created catalogs possess something AI struggles to manufacture from scratch: authenticity, provenance, cultural legitimacy. A machine can generate a song. It cannot generate history. It cannot generate nostalgia. It cannot generate emotional significance accumulated across decades. That gives established catalogs another potential layer of monetization. And then there is tokenization. The broader economy is moving toward tokenized real-world assets. Music royalties fit naturally into that world. Predictable cash flows, fractional ownership, transparent accounting, automated distribution. The infrastructure is beginning to catch up to the asset, which brings us back to the deeper framework. Section 7. The music industry is not unique. It is simply easier to see. Civilization runs on reusable templates. Language is a template. Law is a template. Software is a template. Money is a template. Science is a template. Music is an emotional template. The highest form of capital is ownership of a valuable template that continues generating value long after its creation. That is why the Bee Gees got paid. That is why Prince fought. That is why Thames negotiated. That is why Blackstone invested. And that is why a melody written in 1983 can still produce economic output decades later. The song is the tree. Ownership determines who harvests the fruit. Protect the template. Own the rights. Collect the yield. Flint West, signing off.